Haha. Hey guys, this is Barry from Warvision Gaming, and I'm here to show you some conversions I've been working on for the conversion corner that we're going to be starting. This is my lair. This is where my organized chaos is, and that's a little bridge I made there actually because I'm working on some chaos conversions right now. I'm actually converting some blood warriors from a kit from this Age of Sigmar kit that I found on a sort of, it's a marketplace, it's a second-hand website where you can buy stuff, and I was like, yeah, I really want to convert those guys into some Khorn Bezerkers. So I have a lot of bits for the Bezerkers, even some Forge World bits, and I wanted to mix match them and see what we come up with. So I'm going to show you what I've been working on and see if you like it. So this may seem like chaos to you guys, and of course, like I said, I'm working on chaos, but for me this is organized chaos. I've got some pistols over here, heads and stuff, melee weapons. Need some chain axes for these guys, of course. What I like to do is I like to just throw everything in there that I want to be using, and then look at the model, kind of read the model and see where I want to go with it. So as you can see here, this one is actually pretty far along. This is a Blood Warrior converted into a Khorn Berserker. I've seen these before on the internet. What I didn't like about them was the faces. So this one I kind of liked, but I wanted to do all the other guys with closed helmets. Especially the one with the beard was really lame. You don't want beards unless you're like a Space Wolf player or something, I guess. I've been using Puppets War shoulder pads. Let me zoom out. And they look great. Tips on these guys: don't use too many original Berserker bits because they're so old. As you can see, I've used pistols from actual warriors, which are already old, but not as old as the Berserker ones. This is actually a Forge World chain axe from the Reavers of Horus. I've made a squad with Volkite chargers, so I had these to spare, which is awesome for these Berserkers. Anyway, I wanted to show you what I've done. Actually, what you can do is you find these helmets. I found them a bit missing because of the lower part of the helmet being a face and all. So what I did here is I actually cut off a piece of a Chaos Space Marine helmet. I believe it was this one right here actually. Yeah. Oh, let me get focus on it. So you can see I used the front of this as the front of this helmet. It was a tricky bit of cutting, but it looks really well, and I'll be using a little bit of green stuff to fill in the gaps later. But I'm showing you the progress. Here's another one done with a different helmet I've used. Oh, let me get the focus. Yeah. And I think they are looking great. I used a different arm on this guy. I've got some bits from bit sides just to play around with, and I'll show you guys how to make a helmet like this. So here is the head with the beard. Of course I removed the beard. So what you want to do is actually, let me get a focus on this guy. What you want to do is you want to use your hobby knife and actually cut from the nose, and you want to cut at a downwards angle, so like so you want to cut like up over here up to the nose. So when you get like a helmet that you like, for example this guy that I used earlier, so you can make the same cut downwards, although you do need a bit of the pipes. So what was really tricky was getting the pipes out first and then cutting the rest. So I'll do that now. It's a bit hard holding the camera and cutting. I don't want to cut myself, so I'll be back. A little blood for the blood god, not a problem. So here we go. Let me show you some progress. These are two of the same helmets. As you can see, I removed the horns and I'm starting to get into the gaps of those pipes, the vents for the mouth grill. You can see how I'm trying to separate them. And now I'm going to try to peel off this mouth grill. I'll be back. So this one proved to be a bit harder than the ones I did before, but I'm pretty happy with the end result. Now let's show you how it will look when we fit it onto the helmet. So this is about the end result. This is about it. I'm not sure now I see it. It looks pretty cool, but I want to make 40k Bezerkers. And I think I want to go with the original Space Marine mouth grill instead. You know what I mean. So I'm going to make another one. Whoa, focus. And I'll be back. Alright, here we are again. That's the head I've used. As you can see, a much more classical Khorn Berserker head. That's the look I was going for. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give this body a actual classic Khorn Berserker head. Why? Because that will give me some spare heads, and I wanted to show you. Where is it? Over here. Here I actually took a different approach, thought it would be easier, and what I did is cut out the top here and put in an actual Chaos Marine head. It wasn't that much easier actually, and I think actually replacing the grill looks a bit better. So we'll be putting some of these models together now, and I'll be back. So working with these models, I've put a pin into the X head to put the chain X on there. What I also did is of course put a Puppets War World Eater's shoulder pad over here. They call it differently of course, but that's of course what it's supposed to be. I put a little Khorn token to cover up the fact that I cut away the entire shoulder pad from Age of Sigmar. I did the same over here. You're not going to be seeing much of that because there will be a backpack mounted there. Then I also flattened his left arm to put a normal Chaos Marine arm there. Couldn't do anything with the posing of the original model, so now I'll be adding the X head and the head. And of course the arm. Yeah, I'll be back. So, working with these Bezerkers, I found out that the main thing you might want to skip is the shoulder pads, because it's quite a hassle to actually remove those in a good looking fashion without too much damage to the original model. But I found that if you do put in a little effort to remove those and replace them with more 40k ones. Of course I've been using the Puppets War, but I've done a couple of doubles now where I used the original Khorn Berserker shoulder pads with the Khorn markings and skulls and stuff. And I found that that's really the kind of detail that makes it just pop like 40k. It's not just the mouth grill that makes it Age of Sigmar. It's also the shoulder pads and the lack of backpack, of course. So really you want to get those shoulder pads gone, the Age of Sigmar ones. And a couple of these in the starter kit are of course a real pain in the ass to remove, so I've left a couple of them on, but only the ones that I was satisfied about. Like this, this still looks pretty 40k-ish, but some of them really made it into this fantasy look and feel. So I removed those and replaced them with proper shoulder pads. Add some extra details like maybe a pistol, sling, or some grenades to really give it that 40k feel instead of the fantasy feel. So that's the kind of thing you want to be doing. That's the biggest mistake, is people just slap a chain axe on it and be done with it. And I think that's just a waste of cool looking models. If you just put a little bit of more effort in it, then you'll get a great end result. So I'll show you. So here's the one I finished. And this is my tribute to the original Khorn Bezerkers, because I've used a lot of original parts. There's the head, of course, which is an original Khorn Bezerker head. There's the shoulder pad, and of course there's the backpack, stripped of paint and reused. I think it looks really well. And like I said, there's some original parts that you just don't want to use. You don't want to use the arms. Like here is a Khorn Bezerker arm, and it just looks so old. But what I did do is you can clip this off and then actually just put the head onto a more proper looking arm, like this one from, again, the Age of Sigmar bits. Yeah, so things I've done to this one is just remove the head of the axe and replaced it with one of the Sons of Horus, Reavers of Horus. I did manage to break off a tooth, but I think it looks cool. It looks like, yeah, he's been wielding this axe for 10,000 years, so it's okay. So there's been a token added right here, just to cover up the cutting away of the shoulder pad that I was talking about. I've added a non-Khorn Bezerker pistol. This is an original Chaos Space Marine pistol, which I think looks way better than the Khorn Bezerker ones. This is a Puppets War hand, because I don't have a lot of left hands for pistols. So, oh no, I'm sorry, this is an Anvil Industry hand. Great stuff. Makes great stuff, the guy. Puppets War shoulder pad is what I meant, yeah. So, I've added a original Khorn Bezerker shoulder pad, and I've added a couple of grenades over there. Just like I said, you want to add these pieces, and now it looks like it fits the bill for 40k instead of, you know, fantasy or Age of Sigmar, what they call it now. Yeah, so I'll be finishing all of them up to this standard, I guess, and there will be some pictures of those. What I wanted to say is this used to be the beard guy, so this is actually the beard. So as you can see, I turned the head around totally just to give it a different feel, and I think the posing is way better this way. But you're left with the beard, and I didn't want to cut it away because there's so much detail underneath that's just going to be missing. So what I thought was, well, maybe this is like these guys gather heads and I don't know what kind of grisly tokens. So I'm just gonna paint this maybe some fancy Eldar hair. He stripped a lock of hair from some witch or something like that. Because of course Khorn hates the witches. So yeah, just let your fantasy roll with these kind of things. You can usually find something. And because it's now not in front of his face but just pinned on the chest, sort of, it's okay. You don't have to go too deep to convert stuff. You just convert the bits that need to be removed and different. Like I said, the shoulder pads, they just needed to go on this model because it was way too Age of Sigmar like, and Now it's the Khorn Berserker of the 40k universe. Yeah. I've toiled long and hard for the Blood God, guys. But finally it has come to this. The squad is complete. So we've got 5 awesome Bezerkers of Khorn, and I finally finished with the champion of Khorn. And man, is he a mean looking fella. So yeah, I went with the Power Fist because they are actually worth it now. Usually it was like a chain axe or a chain sword on your champion, but nowadays it actually pays off to go all upgrades on those guys. So actually it was hard to not glue the fist on, but the pistol is actually magnetized on here, so I can swap it out for a plasma pistol if I have the points to spare, of course. As you can see, I added a little Mark IV, I believe, Space Marine head. Gonna be an Ultramarine, of course. I hate those Ultramarines. Sorry, cool skin. Yeah, so I thought it was fun to put a Mark IV on it, because these guys are supposedly just strutting about since the heresy, right? So maybe he's been carrying this here trophy for a long while. I love how the original pose was like a battle cry from the belly, as you can see, some demon-shaped belly over here. And I actually very heretically used a Forge World head, but fitted on an actual Age of Sigmar Khorn symbol from the original heads. So yeah, there we go, squad complete. And man, am I loving these guys. Pupsoir shoulder pads looking great. As you can see, more Khorn symbols to hide the damage I've done. Added a little skull on the shoulder pad. Actually over here you can zoom in. Yeah, you can see the 2 Khorn symbols near the shoulder pad. I've put those there because it's hiding damage, of course, because the original Age of Sigmar shoulder pads were a lot bigger. So I'm very satisfied with these guys. Yeah, especially this guy. He turned out great. Love the pose. It's actually the first one I finished. Yes, there's the squad, ready to gather some blood for the Blood God. Oh, that's how you build them. But you know, we at Warvision Gaming 40k, we love to talk about stuff as well. And I think the main question here is, are these guys worth it? You know, this is the Age of Sigmar starter kit. There's only 5 Blood Warriors in it. That's the big problem with this kit, I guess. So my plan is to get those, I forget what they're called, I don't play Age of Sigmar, so the simpler guys, I'm gonna convert them to cultists, so get pistols in their hands, maybe not their Khorn, so I want to make them into cultists for Mark of Khorn cultists. So if you want to do something like that, then the kit is totally worth it, I guess. But if you have 1 more Khorn Berserkers, I'd go with the actual Blood Warriors kit. There's 10 in them. Get way more bits. They're easily posable. I think I just went with this set because, like I said, I found it secondhand for a good price. So to me, it was worth it. If you find a kit like that, then go for it, I guess. Yeah. To me, yeah, you saw the squad. It's a good looking addition to the Berserkers I have. Can't wait to paint them. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna paint them. I know I'm lagging behind. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you learned something. I know I did. It's fun to convert these guys to Berserkers. Great looking kit for Age of Sigmar. Of course, the next question you might be asking is it worth it? Because we know there are going to be codex drops soon, including new models. And we've all been waiting a wee long time for new Khorn Berserkers. So a lot of you guys are probably already hoping that when the Chaos Codex drops, that it's gonna include some updates to some really outdated models like the Khorn Berserkers. I know I'm hoping for that. So, but it will be fun to mix these guys with those and old Berserkers that I already have, and maybe you can even use bits and pieces to upgrade the old stuff that you already have. Since I haven't painted them yet. Yes, I know, guys. Anyway, it's been great fun. Please leave your comments about these guys. What do you think, if they're worth it, or let us know if you want me to do more stuff like this. And we'll see you next time on Warvision Gaming 40K.